We have a full slate of Commanders news and rumors to cover today on a Monday afternoon. Today we're going to kick it off with the latest report from Adam Schefter from ESPN that says that the Commanders are not planning to trade up to number 1 overall to take Caleb Williams in the 2024 NFL Draft. And also, a CBS Sports analyst said that Kliff Kingsbury is the biggest fraud in football. Going to be reacting to that and give you my thoughts on the new OC here in Washington. And then also, we got one more potential trade target for the Washington Commanders that was revealed over the weekend. I'll go into that, so make sure you guys stick around to see who that trade target is. But before we get into today's action, make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now to join the fastest growing Commanders channel here on YouTube. We have added a ton of subs, over 2,000 subs in the last 2 weeks. That's absolutely incredible growth. I want to thank every single one of you guys out there that has clicked that subscribe button. And throughout this offseason, it's going to be a big offseason. We're going to have breaking news coverage every time the Commanders make a big move. We're going to have in-depth and premium coverage for you guys when it comes to free agency, which is just about a month away, and then also the 2024 NFL Draft. We have now a weekly live show every single Thursday afternoon. And then, all that is 100% free. So if you love Washington football, you want to get the latest updates this offseason, make sure you click that subscribe button right now. So it was fun while it lasted, guys, but it sounds like the Commanders are not going to be making that move up to number 1 overall to take Caleb Williams right there at the top of the 2024 NFL Draft, as ESPN's Adam Schefter says that he cannot see the Washington Commanders moving up to number 1 based on the conversations he's had with both the Chicago Bears and the Washington Commanders. This is what Schefter had to say. In talking to Washington, the sense I got is that they're not inclined to give up whatever it's going to take to get up to number 1. If you're Washington, you're going to have your choice of Drake Maye or Jayden Daniels, so they are happy to sit where they are. I would be surprised if Washington trades up to number 1. So this goes in junction with a report that Chicago wants historic compensation for the number 1 overall pick. Now, what does this look like? Who knows? If I'd have to guess, it probably means 2 additional first-round picks for 2025 and 2026, along with that pick swap here in 2024 in order for the Commanders to move up to get Caleb Williams. And I just don't think the Commanders are willing to give up that kind of draft capital to get a guy in Caleb Williams when they could just sit at number 2 and take a really good prospect either in Drake Maye or Jayden Daniels. So, where I'm at here is that I would really love it if you got Caleb Williams. I'd be super excited for the future here in Washington because we actually did a full scouting report on Williams the other day, and I really do think he's a special prospect. I think he might be the best quarterback prospect to ever enter the National Football League draft in the history of this league. However, if the cost is going to be 2 additional first-round picks just to move up 1 spot, I'm not sure that compensation is something I'm willing to give up in order to make that deal happen. And I'd be perfectly okay with either Drake Maye out of the University of North Carolina or Jayden Daniels. I think their skill sets both fit this air raid system that Kliff Kingsbury, the new offensive coordinator, is bringing in. And this week, we're actually going to be doing scouting reports, full in-detail scouting reports on both of these guys. So by the end of the week, I'll let you know which quarterback I think the Commanders should take and which one I think they will take at number 2 overall in the 2024 NFL Draft. But before I go into my full detailed scouting reports this week, let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. What's your pick? If you were the GM of the Washington Commanders, who are you taking at number 2 overall? Type DM for Drake Maye or type JD for Jayden Daniels for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. So now, speaking of the new offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders, Kliff Kingsbury, CBS Sports analyst Damon Amendolara calls Kliff Kingsbury the biggest fraud in football. Now, those are some fighting words right there. Pretty strong words there from that CBS Sports analyst. So this is what he said exactly on CBS Sports Radio. He says, I think he's the biggest fraud in football because he has not succeeded anywhere he has been to any significant degree. Now, when it comes to him being a head coach, talking about Kliff, you can absolutely see the reasonings why he would say something along the lines. Kliff hasn't exactly been a successful head coach, whether at the college level or at the professional level. You take a look at his career numbers here in terms of records as a head coach. And, just a couple of winning seasons, in 2013, got off to a fast start. Of course, he's worked with guys like Baker Mayfield. He's worked with guys like Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, etc. But there really hasn't been a whole lot of major success when he's been the head coach of a football team, whether it be at the NCAA or the NFL levels. But here's the thing, guys. I really do think that there's a difference between being a head coach and an offensive coordinator. And even though there's a point to be made here when it comes to Kliff Kingsbury, I think the big criticism that I have for Kliff to this point in his NFL career is that he doesn't really make adjustments. He's not somebody that makes adjustments mid-game, and he doesn't make adjustments mid-season, which is why you see his record in the second half of seasons as a head coach, at least, completely fall off a cliff. No pun intended, okay? So I'm looking at Kliff Kingsbury. I'm hoping that he'll make more adjustments now that he's free to just work on the offense. He's not in charge of the team. He's not in charge of the locker room. He just has to focus on the offense and the offensive game plan. So I'm interested to see how Kliff Kingsbury is going to look in just an offensive coordinator role. I don't think he's necessarily a great manager of the locker room, which kind of led to some of that lack of success as a head coach. But I do think there's some very interesting elements to his offensive structure that could absolutely work in terms of an offensive coordinator role here in the National Football League, which is why I'm excited to see this offense here with Kliff as the next OC. So let me know down there in the comments section, is Kliff Kingsbury a fraud? Type yes or type no. Let me know what you guys think about the new Commanders OC down there in the comments section. Speaking of Commanders offensive coaches, Washington hired an offensive line coach today, and it's former Giants offensive line coach Bobby Johnson, who, of course, was fired after this past season after 2 years with the team. And honestly, guys, I absolutely hate this hire. This hire sucks. The New York Giants offensive line has been in complete shambles the past 2 years. They haven't been able to develop Evan Neal. They haven't been able to develop all these various different players on their offensive line. They're not able to cultivate talent. They don't play with good chemistry. And it's the same shit that we've been seeing here in Washington over the last several years along that front five offensively. And I'm very skeptical that Bobby Johnson, after the work that he did in New York, is going to be able to come in here with this unit here in Washington and turn things around, all right? I'm not confident in this hire whatsoever. I think this is probably the first hire that Dan Quinn has made that I'm like, this is a terrible hire. I don't know what the heck he's thinking, but this is definitely a unit that needs to get better in the years to come, and I'm not sure Bobby Johnson has the pedigree I'm looking for to help that effort moving forward. So coming up here, the new Commanders trade target that was revealed over the weekend. It's coming up here in about a minute or so. But before I get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. Game Time is perfect for anyone that is kind of like a last-minute ticket shopper, just like I am. Game Time is the only ticketing app that I have on my phone, because if I'm here at Chat Sports here at the offices and I want to go, say, see a concert with Cassie that night, or if I want to go to an NBA basketball game or an MLB baseball game or something along those lines, usually I'm going to wait until the day of the event, and I'm going to look at the flash deals that they have on the Game Time app. And what a flash deal means is that even though all the tickets on Game Time are already lowest price guaranteed, the flash deals make them even lower. They drive the prices down even lower, so you're always paying the lowest price for a ticket in that section, no matter where you look on any ticketing site. It's absolutely fantastic. It's one of the reasons why it's the fastest growing ticketing app in the United States of America. It also boasts a lowest price guarantee, like I said, on all tickets to any event. So it's not just sports, guys. It's music, it's comedy, it's theater, it's music festivals even. So the only ticketing app that you need on your phone is Game Time. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you're set. Tickets are also sent directly to your phone, another great feature, so you never have to dig through your email to get your tickets. Snag the tickets now without the stress with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code NFLChat. One word, all caps. You see it right down there in the bottom right of your screen for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code NFLChat for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So now let's talk about Haason Reddick, former, or soon-to-be former Philadelphia Eagle. It sounds like the Eagles are granting Haason permission to seek a trade during the 2024 offseason, which is definitely crazy when I heard this news, because Hassan has been one of the more productive pass rushers in the National Football League over the last several years. You look at these numbers here. He had 11 sacks last year. Back in that Super Bowl run in 2022, he had 16 sacks and 5 forced fumbles, man. This guy is a speed demon off the edge, really, really fast player, really great speed rusher. And if that's something that Dan Quinn wants to see in this Washington Commanders defense moving forward, if you bring him in, it's going to be about $15.5 million in additional cap hit for the Washington Commanders. He only has 1 year left on his current deal. All right, so if you go out and get a Hassan Reddick here, it's going to be relatively expensive, but this isn't as expensive as, say, like a Danielle Hunter, who would cost you probably along the lines of around $24 million per season if you get him in free agency. So not only do you have that awesome upside, you have that awesome speed off the edge, but you get the little bit of cap relief as well. But here's the thing, guys. If you trade for him, you're probably going to have to extend him. That's probably one of the main reasons why Hassan is asking for this trade in the first place. It's because Philadelphia is not going to give him an extension this offseason, and that's what he's looking for. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when he gets dealt. There's probably going to be a restructure. There's going to be an extension. It's going to be interesting to see what his cap hit looks like for the 2024 campaign, wherever he ends up. So let's compare him here to probably the number one edge target for the Commanders this offseason, at least in my opinion, and that's Danielle Hunter. All right, so Danielle is somebody that I think did have the more productive season last year. No question about it. The guy had more tackles. I think he's a better run defender, more tackles for loss. I mean, 23 tackles for loss is absolutely absurd. Also, Hassan didn't force a fumble, whereas Danielle forced 4. And then the sacks, Danielle had the advantage there as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Danielle Hunter could look like in a Washington Commanders uniform. And I absolutely think he's still worth that $25+ million per year salary that he's expected to make in free agency this year. However, if you want to go out and trade for Hassan Reddick, I think the price is not only going to be that $15.5 million in additional cap hit, but also you're going to have to give up one of your second-round picks. In this scenario, we have the Commanders giving up their number 40 overall pick in exchange for Hassan Reddick, who would be your number one edge rusher right away. And if you get him, you're signing him to an extension. He's going to be here for a while. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Would you accept this trade if you were the Washington Commanders? Type A for accept or D for decline. Let me know down there in the comment section what you think of this potential trade idea. Now, I think the reality here, guys, is whether or not you want this trade to go down. I don't think it will go down, because I don't think the Eagles are going to want to trade him to a division rival here in Washington. All right, so if they deal him, they're probably going to want to take him to an AFC team. If there's no AFC team that's willing to give up what they want, then it will be an NFC team outside of the division. So I really don't see any scenario where Hassan Reddick is traded to the Washington Commanders this offseason. All right, that'll be it for today's show, guys. Thank you so much for all of your support. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now for wall-to-wall Commanders coverage all throughout the 2023 offseason. Tomorrow, we got the Drake Maye Scouting Report video. You're not going to want to miss it. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now.